Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today's video is all about things that are illegal in the UK but legal elsewhere. Laws can vary greatly from one country to another, and what may be legal or illegal in one country may not be the same in another country. It's always fascinating to see how laws and regulations differ from country to country. So let's dive right in and explore some of these interesting differences. The first one in the list is that it is illegal to kill or injure a swan. Killing swans in the UK is illegal because all swans in open water are considered property of the Crown under a law dating back to the 12th century. The law is known as the mute swan or royal swan, and it's applied to all unmarked mute swans in open water in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. The tradition of marking swans dates back to medieval times when they were often served at banquets and feasts. Unmarked wild mute swans in open waters are considered the property of the monarch. As such, deliberately killing or injuring them could amount to criminal damage. Offences committed against swans have been successfully prosecuted in recent years as well. Today, the law protects swans from harm and mistreatment, and anyone caught killing or injuring a swan can face significant fines or even imprisonment. In summary, the protection of swans in the UK has both historical and ecological significance. It is as well a crucial part of preserving the country's wildlife heritage. The second one in the list is about a certain breed of dogs. It is illegal to own a pit bull or any dog that is deemed to be a pit bull terrier type in the UK under the Dangerous Dogs Act 1991. This law was introduced in response to a number of serious dogs attacks, particularly by pit bull terriers in the 1980s and early 1990s. The Dangerous Dogs Act 1991 was introduced to address public safety around certain breed of dogs. Pit bull terriers, along with 3 other breeds, were identified as being particularly dangerous and were therefore banned from being owned, bred or sold in the UK. The law also requires that all dogs in public places are kept under control and that their owners take responsibility for their actions. Owners of banned breeds of dogs can face significant fines or even imprisonment, and the dogs may be seized and destroyed. It is worth noting, however, that the law focuses on the breed of the dog rather than its individual behavior, and many animal welfare organizations argue that breed-specific legislation is not an effective way to address dog-related incidents. Some people also argue that the law unfairly penalizes responsible dog owners who have well-behaved pit bull terriers, and that other factors such as responsible ownership, socialization and training are more important in preventing dog attacks. Third one in the list is that you cannot drive on the right-hand side of the road. In the UK, traffic drives on the left-hand side of the road, but in many other countries, including the US, Canada and many European countries, traffic drives on the right-hand side of the road. This is because historically people used to ride on the left-hand side of the road so that they could keep their right hand free to greet other people or defend themselves if necessary. Over time, this practice became standardized and laws were introduced to enforce left-hand side driving. In the UK, the first law to make left-hand side driving compulsory was introduced in 1756 and it became mandatory in London in 1835. Switching to driving on the right-hand side of the road would require a significant change to the country's road infrastructure as well as a change in driving habits for millions of people. It would also be a costly and complex process that would involve re-educating drivers, remarking roads and changing traffic signals and signs as well. Similarly, possession of certain firearms are illegal in the UK. Firearms ownership is heavily regulated and many types of firearms are illegal to possess. In the contrary, in some other countries such as the USA, firearm ownership is more permissive and many types of firearms are legal to own, however, they are subject to certain restrictions. Similarly, the possession of marijuana, also known as cannabis, is illegal in the UK under the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971. The law was introduced in response to concerns about the potential health and social harms associated with drug use. The Misuse of Drugs Act 1971 classifies drugs into 3 categories: Class A, Class B and Class C, with Class A being the most harmful and Class C being the least harmful. Cannabis is classified as a Class B drug, which means that it is illegal to possess, sell, or even distribute. The law aims to prevent the use of drugs, particularly among young people, and to reduce the harms associated with drug use, such as addiction, mental health problems, and social problems. However, some people argue that the criminalization of cannabis is ineffective in preventing drug use and can lead to unintended consequences, such as the criminalization of young people and disproportionate targeting of marginalized communities. In recent years, there has been some movement towards the decriminalization or legalization of cannabis in some parts of the world, including some US states and Canada. However, in the UK, cannabis remains illegal and possession can result in a criminal record and potentially a prison sentence. Next one in the list is that you cannot import, sell, purchase, or even possess buttery knives in the UK. The reason for this is because they are classified as a type of flick knife, which is prohibited under the UK law. Flick knives are knives that have a blade hidden inside the handle that can be quickly and easily released with a flick of the wrist. This makes them dangerous weapons that can be used for criminal purposes, such as in assaults or even robberies. It's important to note that other types of knives, such as locking knives, are also restricted in the UK, and their possession in public places can lead to arrest and prosecution. One strange British law that may come as a big shock to many is the fact that you cannot be drunk in a pub. According to the Metropolitan Act 1839, it was illegal for the owner of a restaurant to permit drunkenness on the premises. Furthermore, the pub or bar can face penalties, including fines or even revocation of their license, if they allow customers to become excessively drunk on the premises. This is because excessive drinking can lead to antisocial behavior, such as fights and vandalism, which can disturb public order and safety. Perhaps the saddest UK law is the fact that you are not allowed to linger after a funeral. In 2015, Frank Blades wasn't in any rush to leave the gravesite of his wife. Frank stayed for an extra 20 minutes after the funeral and was punished by receiving a £160 fine. This is often done to ensure that the cemetery or funeral venue can be maintained and prepared for the next funeral service. It is also done out of respect for the deceased and their family, as lingering for too long may cause unnecessary disturbance or delay for the next service. Some cemeteries and funeral venues may have designated areas for mourners to gather and pay their respects after a funeral, but they may ask people to leave once the service has concluded. Pulling up to the window at your local McDonald's and paying with your smartphone with the engine on can get you slapped with a £200 fine and 6 penalty points if spotted by the police. In circumstances where your driving is particularly careless at a drive-thru, as a result of using your phone, you may have a court case and £1,000 fine on your hands. Likewise, in the UK, it is legal to buy and use fireworks, but it is illegal to possess fireworks in a public place without a valid license. The reason for this is to ensure that fireworks are used safely and responsibly, and to prevent accidents and injuries. The possession of fireworks in the UK is regulated by the Fireworks Regulations 2004 and the Pyrotechnic Articles Regulation 2015. These regulations set out the requirements for the sale, purchase, possession, and use of fireworks. Under these regulations, it is illegal to possess fireworks in a public place without a valid license from the local authority or the police. The license is usually granted to professional fireworks displays, but individuals may also be granted a license for private events such as weddings or birthdays. In the UK, it is illegal to be married to more than one person at the same time. This is because polygamy, the practice of having multiple spouses, is not recognized as a valid form of marriage under UK law. The reason for this law is to protect the rights of individuals and to prevent exploitation and abuse. Polygamous marriages can often involve power imbalances and can be used to exploit vulnerable individuals, particularly women and children. It can also lead to inheritance and property disputes and can have a negative impact on social cohesion. So there you have it, some things that are illegal in the UK but perfectly legal in other countries. It's fascinating to see how different cultures approach laws and regulations and how these laws can vary so much from place to place. Thanks for watching and be sure to leave a comment below letting us know what you think about